LegacyTV Dublin presents Conversation with Susuana on Afro Carib lifestyles and achievers.
Hello everyone, you're welcome back onto Conversation with Susuana on Afro Carib lifestyle and achievers. We're on LegacyTV Dublin, so you can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Just Google us, Google LegacyTV and subscribe. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All you need to do is to type in Legacy TV and then like and share with your friends. We're looking forward to seeing you watching some of our programs. Now today I have a special program in there. Guest in the house here with me that will be having a conversation with me. I know it is a one-to-one conversation with her, and I'm happy to tell you that I have Tokie Brown in the house. Tokie Brown, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good to see you.
Same here.
It's like as if you're not living here in Ireland.
Oh,
It's difficult to believe you live here.
I live here and I work elsewhere. So let's take it like that.
Yeah, that's the way we say it. That's the way it is. So it's good to have you. How are you feeling?
I am absolutely doing well. Thank
Now,
you.
today that I'm going to have an opportunity to have this one-to-one conversation.
No problem.
I think it's long. We were saying it's long
Long
time
time
coming.
coming, yes.
So I think I'm privileged, I would say, to. I should say that.
It's a privilege to
For
be
you,
here.
to be
yes.
here.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm also privileged as well. To have the opportunity to just have a deep conversation with you.
No problem.
I'd like to get to know you. Do you want to take us back to the roots? Tell us about who is this Tokie Brown? And then tell us a little bit about how that name came up, Tokie. Because we had a little chat about it just now.
Okay, I was born in Germany. So my father named me Tokumbo. My mom is Benin. And she said, no, I don't like Tokumbo because of the way it's been spoiled, with the whole second-hand goods. So she was like, no, I'm not going to allow you to name this child
Tokumbo.
So she changed it to Tokie. So
Because
it's stuck.
there in Tokumbo is like, when everybody sees somebody from the New York, she came back from abroad.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
usually born in abroad.
So I hide behind Tokie as well. So people ask, so where are you from? I'm like, Nigeria. And they're like, really?
Are you sure?
What part of Nigeria are you from? I'm like,
Because all your names looks different. Browns, okay. Where
so
she
that's
from?
my husband's name,
Yeah.
Brown. And then Laotan.
Laotan is yours,
Is
yeah.
Yoruba.
Middle name.
But my father is always shouting that it's not Laotan, it's not Olaiton, it's Laotan.
Laotan.
So he's very strong about that. So it's Tokie Laotan
Laotan
Brown.
Brown.
That's how they came up.
Now take us down to your childhood.
Okay, so as I said before, I was born in Germany, and I did most of my, should I say, toddler years in Europe, and then we moved to Nigeria because my father felt that we needed to connect with home. So I did a lot of my secondary school in Nigeria, which I'm very proud of, and I did the same to my kids. But it was a good experience, and it helped me connect, with Nigeria. It's a pity that we didn't grow up with Yoruba. I still wish that we did, and now I watch a lot of Nollywood movies and Yoruba movies because I want to learn. So the little Yoruba that I have, I force it on my kids. So whether they like it or not,
they have
whatever I speak, they speak. So the little Benin, they speak. The little Yoruba, they speak. And then the pidgin, yes, they go in the house. So I'm trying to instill something that I feel
you lost
exactly
into them. Yeah.
And I envy people that actually are fluent
in Yoruba.
Like, oh my God, I wish I could do that. And then the little jaw. And now I've learned one jaw. So now I say to my house jaw, and my kids are like, what's that?
I can't believe that.
So anything I learn, I take it all in, and sometimes I try it out on my parents. And the last time I was in Nigeria 2 weeks ago, I tried it out on my dad, and he was like, "No, you went straight into German." I was like, "How am I going to learn this when you are still speaking German to me?" So that's sort of the childhood I've had. Yes, and then from secondary school, I went back to Germany to study international relations. And then from there, I moved with one young child back to Ireland, and then we had twins, and
that's it. Tell us what brought you to Ireland anyway.
Well, it's more about, because I grew up in a household where we spoke German and we spoke Bulgarian, I wanted them to also have English.
English. Okay.
So apart from, even though we still do a bit of German in the house, they have English and they're very fluent in Irish.
Like, I can't believe that.
They took it seriously in the house. So languages galore, especially with the twins. Because we could go somewhere and the twins would just be in Gaelic and I'm like, nobody can understand you. But then I understand because that's how I grew up as well. My parents did that. If they wanted to hide something from us, they spoke Bulgarian.
Yeah.
So
that means they lived in Bulgarian.
Yes, they did in Bulgarian.
So then you have a little bit Bulgarian yourself.
No, I don't have
any. You speak more of German.
More German.
Yeah.
And,
I was actually learning German when I first came into Ireland.
Really?
But I think it's so difficult.
Oh yes, it is.
Really
The
difficult.
grammar is terrible.
I couldn't get through my first stage of learning it. Then I gave up. I kept the book at home. Like, I'm always taking it everywhere. When I move from one house to another,
What
I'm
confuses people is the this, there.
You know the way everything changes.
The gender, yes.
And so I'm just like, okay, look, I loved it and I just forgot about it. So that was one of the first language I learned when I came to Ireland, actually.
Right, okay.
I wanted to know how to speak it. So you came to Ireland. Take us through that journey of coming to Ireland.
Well, I came,
like you said,
when I came to Ireland, I was in Galway. I've always technically, I think I stayed a few months in Dublin before moving to Galway.
Okay.
And then when I got to Galway, my biggest problem was childcare playgrounds.
Playgrounds.
And because you have 3 kids and you need to take them out,
to play.
It was a huge issue, because in Germany you had playgrounds everywhere.
Everywhere.
And
every house, every apartment.
Exactly, you had playgrounds, so it was a big issue, and that's what made me go into politics in Galway. So I ran in the local council in 2004.
Okay.
And I didn't get into the council, but
So what were you running for then?
Well,
was it the local council?
Yeah, local council, but I ran on the whole playground issue thing, family friendly, and then they sort of threw the residency on me as well, and threw all the, immigration issues as well. So I naturally had to take that on board. Exactly. And so from there...
So did you win?
No, I didn't.
But you had an opportunity to make an impact.
Exactly, and I was voted to go into housing.
Housing, okay.
And so...
Okay, that was a good one.
Yes.
That was a good one. Within the council.
Yeah, within the council.
So it was like an appointment. To
yes, exactly. And representing the community.
The community there.
So I was a community representative on the council housing SPC.
Yeah.
So, and I was there for, I think, 5 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
You're going to meetings and reading plans. And remember, my background is international relations.
Yeah.
It wasn't any of this.
Anything.
And then...
okay, go ahead, yeah.
And then reading plans, when the city manager comes with plans and they want us to vote on certain things and we're like, okay, we don't know what you're saying. And he's like, okay, fine. The decision is this, and we're going with that. And I'm like, okay, so why did he bring that in front of us to even deliberate on it? Exactly, if he already has a decision. So I got so frustrated with the whole system, I decided, you know what? I did technical drawing in secondary school when I was in Nigeria, and I ran away because I was the only girl
in the class.
Exactly. I went into home economics, and I just said, you know what? Maybe I should go back into this. And that was how I went to Galway.
Because I was trying to see what brought you back into doing your master's in architecture.
Actually, I started from the very beginning. I went to the Galway Technical Institute in Galway and did the diploma. So I did the 2-year diploma in architectural the computer graphic, aided design. Did that for 2 years. Now said, okay, fine, I like this.
Yeah.
Because they gave me a distinction. I was like very proud of myself. And then I went on to Athlone and said, okay, I'll take this further.
Yeah.
And did sustainable construction. And from there I went to Wales, did a master's in environmental architecture. And then from there went to Italy to do a PhD in architecture as well.
So that one makes you doctor in ecology. I was reading through it. I was like, okay.
So I started 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 years journey.
Yes, it's a
It's a lot
10-year
of,
journey.
my daughter is now thinking of going to do law, and then she's like, oh, she's not even thinking. I said, oh, I was asking her if she's thinking of going into a relationship. She said, Mom, I have 10 years to go. Like, I'm not thinking of that now. I said, okay, just tell me when you get to that stage. Because so it's a long time of studying. It's good when you're young, like.
Yes,
have to go
it's
through that.
easier, but when you have kids and a family and you have to leave them to go to
everything.
different countries
To studies
to study, and everyone's like, you're reading it.
You're not leaving the kids alone. You keep forgetting the husband.
Yeah, but then do you know
He's
that
an adult.
he will put, well, he's also a kid too, but I don't know. So he'll call on Skype and he'll say, oh, the girls are driving me crazy, and so I have to do homework via Skype, and I'm thinking, really, with all what I'm doing here, you're with it. And so yes, and he's American, so he doesn't mind staying at home with them.
With kids.
They have a good understanding, and so that's okay with me as well. Yeah.
So that was what brought you into all this archaeology, architecture, and also so now and everything. Now tell us, from doing that, how did this vision of your women funding home came up to light?
Okay.
And tell us about what that is, because I'm sure people are happy. They want to know what is that all about. All this women funding home. What is it about? So tell us every details about it.
Well, because I'm into buildings and because I see how people make money from property, real estate and stuff, because I'm in it, and because I also decided to dabble into investment opportunities with properties, I decided that with what women go through, and especially when there's a breakdown
in relationships,
and maybe a spouse passes on, they're left with the financial implications of that. And I came up with this idea that to buy a property is very expensive.
It is.
And if we create a group of women that can come together and buy properties, it makes it easier. And then they can earn from that property. And so that's how the whole idea came about. And it was 3 years of drama, trying to get the women to understand. And now I've also learned a lesson, because it was a learning journey for me as well. Because I came to realize that people do not understand the meaning of investment
at all.
Begin with. Because when you have issues like people coming together and then saying they want to borrow the investment, that you're like,
or from the investment, like, hello, we invested this money to do something.
I'm thinking, really? And they actually do not understand that investing is also a risk.
It's a risk.
And because
nobody wants to take those risks.
Exactly.
Like, you just want your money.
They want me to be the insurance
of that money.
Exactly. So if anything fails, they want me to be able to pay them
for that.
And I'm thinking, I've lost money as well, and I've not expected whoever showed me the way to pay me
for you.
I know going in there that there are risks involved, and you have to have some type of patience when it comes to investing. It's not an overnight thing. And people are always like, oh, I go into this property thing, I want this happening, this is the amount of money. And I wonder, because we all live in houses. Something will break down in that house. You need to repair it and fix it. So out of what you're earning,
you have to do that.
You have to.
Because you're the landlords and you have to keep the house going.
It's an asset.
It's an asset,
If you want to keep the tenant in there happy, you need to make sure that everything works. So you can't take your earnings, all your earnings, and spend it. So I think for me, what I've learned is that, okay, fine, I went into this thinking that people understood
what investment is about.
Exactly, which was a mistake. What I needed to do was set a criteria. Then probably say, go and do this sort of homework. When you fully understand and you pass my exam questions, because at this stage now I have
But I don't think people will be patient to even do that.
No, I will be patient because it takes a lot, and it took a lot out of me as well, because I found myself paying out from my pockets just so that they don't lose money. Which was unfair because that was not the idea.
Yeah.
So from what other investment groups do is they make sure you do all these questionnaires and you fully understand what it means to invest. And that you know that once you're putting something into a pot, it stays in that pot. And then you focus on other things. Because when I'm doing my investments, I pick, a couple of investments that I'm interested in. I do my research on them. And then I start bit by bit. You don't need $1 million
to start an
investment pot. And this is something I feel people don't understand. And they want you to perform miracles, which is impossible because it's taken me years to get to this stage. And so that's what happened with the women. I'm still working on it, but now I'm thinking about it and using a different strategy, which is anybody that wants to work with me has to actually go and know what investing is all about, do the homework, know what it entails. Now fill out my questionnaire and then feel,
you're ready for this, like,
sign and say, whatever comes out of this, and that's it. Because that's what we do now with companies or with high
loans.
High impact investors as well for huge sites, So they have to go through that criteria. So I need to develop that sort of criteria before I take on anybody. Because it's ridiculous what people expect me to
put into it. Now this women fund is something, is it locally based in Ireland or is it for any woman anywhere within the whole world?
It's for any woman anywhere in the world who feels that she can start her group. So what I come in to do is,
okay, so people have to start up a group.
Exactly.
So they don't join your own group.
Oh no, I've learned.
Okay.
I've learned because then they leave all the work to me
to do. Okay.
So, but that they're not learning. So they start their group. I come in, facilitate.
Okay.
And then give
information.
Step-by-step process. And I don't mind being called in once in a while, to help out with one or two, setbacks, that I don't mind. But if women can come together, which is the whole point, because you are in your locality, you see each other. I'm in different places. I cannot be there all the time. So if women come together and they do this, then they start to own properties by themselves. Because they're alternative ways of getting these properties. It's just that people don't have the information
of how it could happen.
Exactly.
So what is the minimum, let's say somebody sets up a group today, do you have minimum number of women that can be part of that group? Or what is the minimum amount of money people can invest to be part of that group?
So now the first thing, if it's Ireland, because Ireland is...
So let's use Ireland, because we're here now.
Ireland. So what's the deposit for a mortgage in Ireland?
Now I think it's around 30% of whatever is the money for the house. So let's say the house is 300,000. You have to give in 30% of it. And then there's all the little expenses that goes with that.
Exactly. So once you know how much that is, then you give yourself a timeline. So that determines how many women you want to work with. And how much they want to invest put into the pot every month until you gather that money.
Okay.
It's like the
Ajo savings.
Exactly. So instead of using that and doing things that, you can't see after 2 or 3 years, you can do that and start a company and then start investing as a company. And have long-term tenants in there and know what to do with that money that comes in. And then from that, you move on to the next one. And then you know for how long you're going to be together. So all that will be in your rules and your bylaws and
everything.
Exactly.
And that is how the group starts.
Yes, that's how the group starts.
Now, how is your own group that you're managing yourself? How is that progressing?
Drama. I have a member in the studio. Well, we have our own ups and downs and we're working through it like any other group.
Group.
And hopefully we either get this apartment, because we're trying to get an apartment in Spain. So
that's not too expensive anyway. Houses in Spain more expensive than houses in Ireland?
The one in Spain is between 10,000 to 15,000 now. And the properties are 160, between 140 to 160.
So do you get the bank to
yes,
add up the other loan into
yes,
it?
100% mortgage.
And then you have to do your repayments as well on a monthly basis.
So that's your tenants paying, and then paying rent, and then you're now paying part of that rent back to the mortgage.
And then you still pay your property tax on it.
Oh yes,
and everything.
Yes, and everything.
So there's a lot of things that goes in there that people really need to know before they start making income and everything. I have some friends that were into property, like you said. They actually had up to 30 houses here.
Really? Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's what she does as a job. So she just wake up every morning, go to each of the houses, make sure everything is done. She has to make sure whatever is going on.
Exactly.
There's electricity hub, there's that.
Exactly.
And they really manage that investment really very well. She actually really live very well.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's
but then, not people, until now that we're talking about it, I was actually thinking she's making millions because she lives like so comfortably. She goes holiday every time. She does her hands. She does everything every single week. And like, she doesn't do anything. She just wake up every morning.
Oh no, it's a lot of work.
But it's a lot. Because she wakes up and they have 30 houses. And she has to visit all those houses. They call her. When this one is calling, she's going there. She's always going to get something. When the fridge there is not working. The microwave there, there's always something she's always doing. So she's really busy about it.
But the thing is that now she controls her time.
She controls her time. She works her own time.
Exactly. Which is very important.
And she is able to earn a good salary.
Exactly.
To live comfortably. From it.
Exactly.
And the property is there. So we've talked about it. So if there's any woman out there anyway, and you get to watch this, and you're thinking of, okay, look, now I know what this woman is doing. I want to get to be part of it. So let's say, for example, there's a group of women in Galway or Cavan, Meads, Navan, Dublin, wherever your group of women are, and you're thinking of like, okay, we'd like to get involved. We'd like to own our own property here in Highland. You can get in touch with us. She can facilitate those workshops. And she can talk you through how you guys can come together and make it happen. So that's a good information. Because I actually think up to now, I thought you were making miracles. So it's like, oh, she's doing miracles with all these houses. Like she's just building houses everywhere. So that's what I thought. I thought you were building houses for everyone. So anyway, it's good to get to, I really get to know what it is all about it. Now, tell us that now, apart from the property, and I know you travel everywhere, you walk outside the country. Tell us about this. It's a synthetic group.
Okay,
what is it all about this?
Okay, Syntec
and
Group.
where do you come in that?
All right, Syntec Group is a wine company, and it's a company my brother founded. So he dragged me into it. And so because we were born in Germany, and he's in Germany at the moment, so it's sort of, should I say, homecoming. And so dealing with wines, because we grew up with wines.
Yes,
with my
France,
parents,
That is it.
So it was natural to go into wine
as a business.
Exactly, as a business. Because my father, he's a medical doctor, but he used to experiment with fruit and make wine. So when my brother said he was going to do this wine thing, my father's like, oh, okay, interesting. And then we decided that, actually, funny story, how did we get into this one? We went to Ghana to go and pitch about biomass, energy. Turning waste into electricity. And
is that part of what synthetic does as a company?
The major
because it's a synthetic group. Because I was reading through their website and I could see that they do different type of things. Apart from the wine. The wine is just a new thing that comes on board.
It was by mistake, actually, the wine. And then we took this wine with gold particles in it as a present for the people in Ghana.
Over there,
And then when we got there, and we presented the whole biomass thing. We went, did all the feasibility studies and all that. And then when we were about to leave, presented
Sent
them
the
with
wine.
And then they were like, oh my God.
This is a good wine.
Can you bring this to
wine.
Ghana? And we were like, okay.
This is a business opportunity.
Exactly.
Here.
So that's why we didn't think about Europe, because that was where
it came. That was how it came.
Exactly. So we decided, okay, fine, and that's how it started. And then we.
So you went back to Germany and like, okay, look, what are we going to do?
Exactly.
Because we really don't have a company for wine yet.
Exactly.
So
we were just enjoying the wine for ourselves. And then we said, okay, fine, we'll go into Nigeria as well. So we've gone through the whole process of NAFDAC and everything.
NAFDAC and everything.
And we got.
Do you need still to do NAFDAC for wine? Because I thought that is just in medicine.
Oh no, you have to do NAFDAC for a lot of things, food and I think food products. I think
Anything food products.
Yes.
And wine will be seen as a food product.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So we had to go through the whole a year worth of drama with that too.
Yeah.
But we got an agent on ground who's going to be supplying the drinks in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we've just about finished the last bottle.
Okay. So is the production going to be in Nigeria or in Germany?
In Germany.
In Germany.
Yes.
And then you just ship that to Nigeria and they bottle it in Nigeria.
Oh no.
You bottle everything in Germany. And then it goes. How would that go? Would that be going through the sea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so then you just need a storage house in Nigeria whereby you store it and then somebody should put it out.
Exactly.
Okay. And is that the same thing you're thinking of doing in Ghana as well?
Oh yes, it's going to be the same
process as well.
Yes, in Ghana.
So everything's going to be manufactured in Germany.
Yes.
And just take them down there.
Yes.
So have you people started? I should have asked you to bring it. The wine anyway, because I'm sure you have it at home to taste it. You know.
Don't worry, I will bring some.
Now you have to bring some for my. Now I'm having a program. We'll talk about that later. Now you have to bring some tasting wine for tasting for us.
No problem. No
and
problem.
on the house as well. We have to get everybody to taste.
No problem. It's time, date and time, because usually I'm booked a year in advance.
A year in advance.
So it's like
that was why I said privilege anyway.
Because I have.
You know when we saw, I was like, okay, I'm seeing you. We saw last like 2 weeks ago. And we've been talking about it. That was all.
Yes.
So anyway, you guys have started the company now. The wine is kick off. And how is that doing?
Well, as I said, we had to go through the legal process in Nigeria. We had to register the company in Nigeria, and then we had to go through NAFDAC. And so we've just finished the last bit of it.
Of that,
And so now we'll start production, and then we'll ship.
So it's really doing well already in Germany.
Yes, it is doing well.
It's finding its place over there.
Yes,
because there's a lot of wine. There will be. I mean, I can imagine a lot of wine companies.
Oh yes.
In France.
Yes, it's a family-run company in Germany as well. So it's been in their generation, in their family for 7 generations.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So which one is that? Your own family?
Oh
or
no, it's
the family that is doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a family-owned business.
Which is good. Which is great. So now tell us what else you're doing. Now we've talked about this, your wine, something. We've talked about the housing. We've talked a little bit about your background, educational background, families and everything. Now, what else would you like us to know?
Well, I'm into heritage, and that's where I decided to focus on.
What does that mean?
I work on heritage sites.
Okay, yeah, I remember you were talking about it.
So any site that is UNESCO, has UNESCO status. So usually when a country wants to put a heritage monument or building
in any site
on UNESCO's database.
So it does on their database, not on their land properties.
No, it's landed properties. It's with historical heritage.
Do they have it in every country?
Every country, people have to find these national heirlooms and present it to their local government, and the government has to put it on a tentative list where we can now come in, assess it.
So UNESCO is a company in itself.
UNESCO is an international organization.
Yes. Okay, so what do they tell us about UNESCO for those people that really don't know what UNESCO is about?
UNESCO does a lot of things, but this particular branch of it is on heritage buildings. So something like, out of the top of my head, which I think should be on UNESCO, is the Fala's Shrine.
So
something like that needs to be preserved. then the Lagos state government has to tell the national government that they need this to be preserved. And then they have to do like a dossier. This dossier is sent to us, the experts, and then we go through it to make sure that they've covered all the basics. And then we go in without them knowing, so we do blind reviews. And then we give recommendations and say yes, it should be preserved. It should be preserved. It should be on UNESCO.
Now, before you go further, why is it that Nigeria, which is part of Africa as a continent, why do I need UNESCO, that is an European-based organization, to tell me that my land is an heritage land? Because we know our heritage lands anyway. Why do we need the approval?
Oh no, it's not that you need the approval for UNESCO to come in. It's to safeguard that monument, and it's to maintain it.
Okay. So why can't my government just maintain it?
But the thing is that a lot of governments do not think it's important
for them to do that.
And then somebody can come tomorrow and say, you know what, this thing is of no value, and break it down.
Okay.
And then you lose something that could be passed down to the next generation. It's like the pyramids, for instance.
Pyramids, was that?
Yeah, that's all UNESCO. That's all UNESCO. So UNESCO takes care of it, and it becomes a tourist area because there are people that go to UNESCO.
So that means you get something out of it.
Of course. You get something
so now,
out of it. You
like fella, sure now.
Yes.
You guys will be getting something out of it.
Yes.
That man has worked so hard to get that place going. And then UNESCO comes in and start getting something.
No, not UNESCO. The shrine. So anybody managing that site will be getting funding. That's why we come in to say yes.
Yes,
because then we get money to maintain it.
Okay.
So if they're not getting money to maintain this,
so you give them money to maintain.
Yeah, to maintain it. So UNESCO will allocate funds and then they'll maintain.
So do you get something back for your funding, or you just keep the funding?
No, you keep the funding and then you manage the site and you make sure you adhere to all the rules and regulations. You know, so maintain the heritage site, and and it also brings tourism.
Okay.
So you make money from tourism. You know, so when you utilize this commercially, you make money from it as well. So it helps that local community. It helps the country as well.
I think I'm going to go and find where Ogedegbe, that's my great-great-grandfather, was buried. And it needs to be preserved.
Because the government needs to have a budget for their national heirlooms.
But I don't think most governments might not have.
Exactly. So this is why UNESCO has to do something about things like that. Because some things I've heard that they've broken down in Lagos. And I'm thinking, oh my God, why?
Why would they do that? A lot of heritage places have been broken down. Because a lot of people don't see the importance. They just talk about this modernization and we just destroy things. I was actually furious, and I really didn't have much that I could do anyway. My great-grandfather's house, where my mom's dad was living, was like that, and he was one of the architectures in my homeland. They actually designed all the architecture roads in Elisha. They're known for that. The Ajanakus and the Abiolas. So, and I think some group of people new banks, this modern day bank, because it's on the main of the road, they wanted to buy the house. They had to take away the corpse and then uproot the corpse and take it to another place to bury it, because those people didn't want to have a corpse in the house. And I didn't have money to go and fight in Nigeria. And you know one thing, I was actually thinking of fighting. My mom was brave enough to go and fight. But then they said, you know the way they're thinking, they might kill you, or somebody's going to do something to you. And I'm like, okay, nobody can kill me. But anyway, I don't think they could. But you know, even though you know they could, doesn't mean you're not scared.
Exactly,
So, but now I might have to go back with you now and fight the battle.
But the thing is that when I go on site like that, they can't know.
I know, I'm just joking.
And usually they don't give me areas that
I
am from or I am familiar with. They'll give me something very far
different.
You know, so I've worked on sites in South African sites, because they just send you all these files and you sit down and then you work on them and then you do this blind peer reviews on their dossiers and stuff like that. So that's how it works.
And are you enjoying that?
I love it.
Have you done anything in Ireland?
No, because I live
in Ireland, so
they
wouldn't give you in Ireland,
yes,
but they give you anything outside
exactly.
Ireland.
Yes.
So that gives you an opportunity to go to Nigeria anyway.
Oh yes.
Because you don't live in Nigeria.
No, but I have a Nigerian background, so they don't want me to be biased. So
they
yes,
won't take it there.
They won't take me to
So
Nigeria.
do you work with them as a freelance, or do you
as
work
an expert?
As an expert,
Yes.
so still similar to as a freelance. They're
Yeah.
not like you have to be in the office.
No,
so when
no.
they see the contract, they send it to you and things like that.
Yes,
So
yes.
you're really enjoying doing that.
Yes,
anyway.
I do.
Bringing
I do.
diversity into the environment where
Absolutely.
you have an opportunity or privilege to be. So it's good talking to you.
Same here.
I've been enjoying it, and I'm feeling much at home. I've actually forgotten that we have this conversation on TV. So how come we're composed now?
No, you're fine. You're okay.
So, what else would you like us to know about you? People that might be watching and saying, "Oh, that's Tokie on Legacy TV. That's Tokie talking to Susuana." Yeah, I'll get to know a little bit. What would you like people to know a little bit more about you?
Well, I'm very reserved.
Everybody says that.
No, I
You are.
I am very reserved. I'm very much at home. Just if I'm not doing anything,
Anything you watch?
I'm at home and I'm having my cup of tea.
Tea.
That's it.
So you enjoy taking a good cup
I
of tea.
do enjoy.
So what type
taking
of
a
tea
good
do you like taking?
Oh well, black tea.
At least if I have to get something from you, so I have to get you a nice dark cup of tea.
Yeah, black tea.
Then that means I get away with anything.
Yeah, no, well, not entirely.
anything.
Not entirely.
Now, it's really great having a good conversation with you.
Absolutely.
And it's good to have you on this platform to come and tell us about what you're doing. You really, you're one of our people that we're really proud to have here.
Really? Oh.
Because, let's say this is a fresh place for us, and it's always good to when you see people from African descendants really making a positive impact within the community in a very positive, and they projected it in a very good positive way as well to the people, because it gives our own young children, our young achievers coming up to see what they can aspire to be, and okay, yeah, I could aspire to be that, or even better than that. That's what we want them to aspire to be. So it's good to have this conversation with you, and I'm hoping that people will watch and then delighted to connect with you. Yeah.
One more thing I would like to say, because it's something that I always say anywhere I
Anyway,
go
go
to. When you have children and you're investing in certain things, make sure they know
about it.
what you're doing.
Let them know what you're doing.
Because you hear of families like the Abiolas, and then you wonder what happened.
What happened to them?
And for me, because personally I've experienced something like that, it's become part of what I do, and that's why with investments and stuff like that, when I'm passionate about it, I'm also passionate about the kids knowing what is happening.
Exactly. So that is important.
It's
now,
very
you don't
important.
keep everything to yourself. Your kid get to know it.
Exactly. Get your children involved in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let them know what you're doing.
And apart from the fact that things can die away, you can die anytime.
Exactly. So, and they need to know that this is what you have in place. And nobody comes from anywhere else to say,
okay.
And then they're confused.
They're confused.
And then if we're doing anything in Africa, for the love of God, take your children home. Let them know what is happening in that place you are investing.
Don't let them stay here. You're building houses in Nigeria. They don't even know.
And you are sweating and to do this.
Yeah.
And the children have no clue. And then you say things like, "Oh, there's Africa is this, Africa is that."
No.
Then why are you investing there?
Yeah. No, don't do that.
So if you're going to do that, take these kids there. Let them see.
Yeah.
Let them have
that connection. Let them know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And you really, this is truthful. Was a few years back, I went home with my kids, and we went somewhere, and I was still trying to hide it. But they get what we were doing there at the end of the day. But you can't believe it. Since we came back, they are actually the one keep reminding me that, Mom, that place we went to, are you still doing anything about it? I'm like, okay. Now, but then I realized they really know.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that I was keeping it quiet, but then I realized they don't speak my language, but they could understand everything I was actually talking with my mom and everybody there. So they keep going back to it. I'm like, okay. So now I think I have to tell them about it.
Yes, it's very
important. It is important to really,
very important.
Carry them along.
Exactly.
Carry them along.
Carry them along. That is it's one of the things that I'm passionate about.
Wow.
Get your children involved. You know, sometimes kids will be like, oh, you know what, I'm not interested. Yeah, don't force them.
Let them just know.
Let them just follow you. They're learning something.
Yeah, they are. And then it keeps their interest alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because later down the line, they're going to be like, you remember that? And then you're like, what? You
it's
remember?
True. Yeah, they do.
They know.
Yeah.
It's better than not knowing at all.
I know.
So
anyway, before we go,
no problem.
You have a teenage child.
I have three.
They're all teenagers.
I have 18 and 17. Yes.
Now tell us how you cope with those age of teenagers. Especially say it out to mothers out there that might be wondering, because a lot of children now have the teenagers and they're wondering how to cope with them.
Patience. Patience. And then the whole thing of being African, I had to become more African the older they got. And you have to be very systematic about it.
Yeah.
Because of this whole, you can't train children the way you normally train them in Nigeria.
Where there's a lot of support from families.
Exactly. So since you do not have the support that you normally have, adopt the support.
Adopt it.
Get the social workers involved. Everybody involved. If a child is misbehaving, do not hide it. Get the social workers involved, get the police involved, let that child know that you can pick the phone and call the police on them. That's when they sit up. Because when they feel they are in control, they will control that household. But when you turn the table on them and know that you're not afraid to call anybody, they will sit up. Because now you are using them as your adopted community members.
Yes.
And then you take control of that situation. Do not let these children bully you, because they are emotionally bullying parents in Ireland today. And it's because I went through it. I went through it in the last year. And the child, I said, you know what? I'm not going to let you
dictate for me
at all. And she was so shocked when I got everybody, the GP, anywhere we go, I'm talking. Everybody. I even got her a psychologist. That was how bad. She was the one now telling me, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm like, oh, the way you're acting doesn't show that there's nothing wrong with you. Now you're going to the psychologist.
Yeah.
And then she was like, what? But this will be, yes, let it be on your record, because then you would have created a record for me. So I had to turn the table on her and drag her back. So it takes a lot of patience, and you should be ready to be African.
I tell you, it is really good chatting with you.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping that we have an opportunity again to sit down and have this conversation.
Exactly.
So for those that might be watching us, I've been talking all the way to Tokie Laotan-Brown. And if you want to get to know more about her, just Google her. She has her own public profile. You can Google and you can get to know about her more and know about what she does. So it's great chatting with you. And thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure.
Legacy TV Dublin. Conversation with Susuana on Afro Carib lifestyles and achievers.